Hello, my name is Stefano, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the White Rock Quarry at Clay Center, Ohio. I completed this project last year with Jameson Brizendine, and it was published in the Mineralogical Record magazine. Now, you probably know Clay Center as one of Ohio's most famous localities for brown fluorite, and we're going to show you some wonderful specimens and some specimens of some things that you may or may not have seen. We're going to start with a little bit of history of the quarry. Production began in the late 1870s under the Toledo White Lime Company, and by the 1920s, the quarry was under the control of the Kelly Island Lime and Transport Company, who were able to build it up into one of the largest producers of white lime in the country. Now, white lime was primarily used for the manufacture of mortar and whitewash at that time, which were both very important building materials. But as interest in using concrete as a building material grew and there was less and less demand for mortar and whitewash, the production of white lime at the Clay Center quarry fell. Now that's because the white lime at the Clay Center quarry was very rich in magnesium, because the rock there is a dolostone, a calcium magnesium carbonate. And while that material was suitable for the manufacture of mortar and whitewash, it was useless for the manufacture of concrete. So by the 1950s, production of white lime at the Clay Center quarry was shut down, and the quarry became an exclusive producer of crushed stone for construction aggregate, which it still produces today. I'm going to segue now into talking about the geology of the Clay Center quarry. The quarry is located near the peak of the Finley Arch. The Finley Arch is a structural high that separates the Michigan Basin to the northwest from the Appalachian Basin to the southeast. The Clay Center quarry is located at the peak of the Finley Arch in the Lockport Formation. The Lockport Formation is a major dolostone and limestone formation that is exposed across the Great Lakes region, including in Ohio and New York. And it's a high-value quarrying target across that region because of the toughness of the rock and how clean it is. Now, at Clay Center, mineralization came mostly out of the Appalachian Basin and entered the rocks in the quarry primarily through large fracture systems that are prevalent throughout the quarry, such as this one photographed here in the wall of the quarry. Mineralization occurred primarily in open spaces created by the dissolution of fossils, such as this vug here, which still has a partially undissolved fossil of a Megalomus canadensis, a type of large clam, which has now been partially filled with Celestine crystals. Now, the Clay Center quarry has been known among mineral collectors and geologists since at least the 1880s, but it's best known today for a major find that was made in the winter of 2006 and 2007 by Gail Deck and Jean Novotny. Deck and Novotny discovered a major pocket zone in the floor of the quarry in the fall of 2006, right before the quarry closed for the winter. They were able to obtain permission to collect the pocket zone throughout the winter, and with the help of sump pumps to keep this pocket zone drained of water, they were able to collect hundreds of outstanding mineral specimens. This is an image of the pocket zone showing veins of mineralization throughout it. They were able to chase these down and open multiple pockets of fine fluorite and Celestine specimens primarily. This is a picture that was taken in Gail Deck's kitchen with dozens of outstanding brown fluorite and Celestine specimens that she had recovered from this pocket zone before they were brought to market at the Tucson show starting in 2007. And now for what you really came here to see, and that's the minerals. We're going to start with calcite. Now, calcite is perhaps not the most important collectible mineral at the Clay Center quarry, but it is a very common one that we're going to see in association both with the Celestines and occasionally the fluorite specimens that we're really after. Now, this 15-centimeter example is a really great place to start because it shows the typical calcite association with white-bladed Celestine, and it shows the classic Clay Center calcite habit, which are these golden crystals with elongated rhombohedrons and scalloped crystal faces. This is by far and away the most common habit of calcite at the Clay Center quarry, with other styles being exceedingly rare. A couple more really nice calcite specimens from the Clay Center quarry. Both of these from the Olson collection, showing this the typical rhombohedra on Celestine crystals. Now, the Finley Arch is known particularly throughout the world as one of the great localities worldwide for the mineral Celestine. At the Clay Center Quarry, Celestine occurs almost exclusively as white or colorless bladed crystals. Now, these are so delicate that they're almost always broken, so specimens like the two shown here with well-developed, undamaged terminations are quite rare and valuable. But the Clay Center Quarry is best known for its fluorite specimens. Fluorite from the Clay Center Quarry occurs primarily in a palette of yellows and browns, and this specimen is an excellent example of the classic style of fluorite from the Clay Center Quarry, with dark brown cubic crystals showing stepped faces and occasionally a little bit of an iridescent coating. Fluorite crystals from the Clay Center Quarry can get quite large. This specimen is almost 14 centimeters across, and I have seen crystals that are up to 30 centimeters on edge. Fluorite crystals from the Clay Center Quarry are often color zoned, as in the example on the left, with colors ranging from nearly colorless to various shades of yellow and brown. On the right is a very unusual specimen showing an arch of dark brown fluorite crystals with an iridescent coating completely covering the rim of a Celestine crystal. A couple of oddities. The specimen on the left shows a typical brown color zone fluorite crystal that has been broken in situ and then regrown with an unusual pale lavender colored fluorite, which is quite rare and something to watch out for at the Clay Center Quarry. On the right is a specimen of a Megalomus canadensis clam, which has been completely replaced by massive fluorite, which is something you'll see from time to time. Here's one more oddity. Sugary crystals of purple fluorite on white bladed Celestine. These are particularly uncommon, but are seen from time to time in various quarries in the Finley Arch, seemingly only in the Lockport Formation. Fluorite specimens from Clay Center have a strong fluorescent response, both under shortwave and longwave UV. The source of this fluorescence is the same as the source of the brown color in the fluorite crystals. That is, inclusions of hydrocarbons, oil, trapped inside the fluorite crystals. This is a neat piece. This is an older specimen collected around the 1940s from the Don Gabriel collection. It's currently at the A.E. Seaman Mineral Museum at Michigan Tech. This specimen has very, very dark brown fluorite crystals that are basically completely opaque. They almost look as though they had been carved from chocolate. This is one of the finest specimens from the 2006-2007 strike at the Clay Center Quarry, showing dark brown color-zoned fluorite crystals on a bed of bladed white Celestine crystals. The specimen is an impressive 19.5 centimeters high. Another great specimen from the 2006-2007 find. This one has a large brown fluorite crystal with color zoning on Celestine with some smaller ones. And this specimen particularly well shows just how hard it is to get undamaged Celestines. This is one of the great pieces from this find, and yet not a single one of these Celestine crystals is undamaged. Another one of the finest specimens from the 2006-2007 strike. Dark brown color zone fluorite crystals sit again on a matrix of bladed white Celestine crystals. This specimen 24 centimeters across. The Finley Arch is a Mississippi Valley type lead zinc deposit, much like Elmwood and Gordonsville in Tennessee or the Tri-State District in Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. And it's not surprising then that we see minerals like Galena at Clay Center. Although Galena is quite rare at Clay Center, it can be seen from time to time, and the specimens can get quite nice, such as this 9.5 centimeter piece with Celestine. Although you don't usually think of Ohio as a locality for oxidized minerals, oxidation of galena and other sulfide minerals at Clay Center can produce some very unusual minerals for Ohio, such as cerussite. as in this example where the cerussite crystals are growing on a pre-existing galena crystal. Another important collectible mineral to be found at the Clay Center Quarry is sphalerite. Sphalerite from the Clay Center Quarry typically occurs as complex orange-red crystals on limestone matrix, or, as in the specimen on the right, as spheres of orange or red crystals. Here's one of my favorite sphalerite specimens from my personal collection. It shows some unusually simple sphalerite crystals with hextetrahedral faces on matrix with a broken Celestine crystal. I collected this one back in 2008. Before I finish up, I just want to talk a little bit about the mineralogical record, and hopefully I'm preaching to the choir with this group, but I just want to say that we're a nonprofit organization and we're dedicated to preserving knowledge about minerals, mineral localities, and the people who collect them. If you think what we do is important, please support us by becoming a subscriber, an advertiser, or a fellow, or participate in one of our supplements. And we've got a great one coming up. If you haven't heard about it yet, the new supplement is going to be called Eureka, and it's going to feature self-collected minerals. And this is an opportunity for you to show off all the specimens that you have collected over the years. So please check with us if you're interested in participating. We'd love to have you on. To learn more, visit us at themineralogicalrecord.com or send me a message, and you can find my email address in the bottom right-hand corner of this slide. As you might imagine with such a short talk, there's no way I could cover everything that Jameson and I learned as we were researching for this great Clay Center article. So if I piqued your interest with this talk, please pick up the September-October of 2020 issue of the Mineralogical Record magazine and read our full article and learn quite a bit more. And with that, I'll ask, are there any questions?